Hey there, welcome back to our fifth video in this series, Unlocking Time Freedom for Yourself as a Busy Leader. And today we're going to talk about your money. Well, we're going to talk about organizing how you spend your money. And this can go for you personal or professional. Okay, just some tips. Now, this is not going to be a time where we go into your budget uh, real intricately and talk about how you should spend your money. We're just going to talk about how you can track your spending of your monies, okay? Whether you're talking about business or personal. So, I'm going to give you a few apps, I'm going to give you a few tips, and some just old school resources that very well may work for you. Okay, so let's start with the apps. I love a couple of apps that you can use right on your phone, and they will sync to whatever other tools you're using. Now, one of them is, let's first talk about keeping your receipts and tracking when you're on the go. I have found that's been one of my biggest challenges is making sure that I'm capturing the information in the moment because I'm busy, you're busy. You know, we stuff things down in a pocket or a bag and then the receipt is lost for a minute. You might need it for an expense report, that sort of thing. So we want to keep it organized for a couple of reasons. One, we want to be able to get our expenses paid back if it's appropriate. And secondly, we want to make sure we are able to track how we spent our money so that we can better budget for upcoming quarters, years, etc. All right. So in doing that, side note, when I've been married over 30 years, but in our first 3 years of marriage, I would go to the ATM, lose the receipt, not remember I took $20 out. It drove my husband crazy. Okay. We don't want to be doing that kind of stuff, even personally or certainly in business. You don't want to take money out of petty cash and not have a receipt to put back in there and balance it out, right? We want to use good, excellent financial practices, whether it's in our home or it's in our work. So, the apps for tracking your receipts and or your budgets. A couple of apps I like to use. One of them is called Every Dollar. So you can just download the app and it's real easy to use. It's basically, if you can look at it like the old envelope system. Do you remember way back in the days when we would literally carry this is back in like the Ron Blue, Dave Ramsey days, maybe in the 90s, early 2000s. And we would have an envelope for each area of your budget. So, an envelope for your groceries, an envelope for your entertainment, an envelope for your personal expenses. We carried those around. Yes, remember my nifty little planner? We carried those envelopes with us and we would have cash in there. It's kind of to train yourself to know where every dollar is going. And so probably why they call it Every Dollar, or is it Easy Dollar? Every Dollar or Easy Dollar. There might be two, but I think it's Every Dollar. And so what you're going to do is you're going to download that and then you can track in there where you spent your money. Now there's another one called You Need a Budget. If you find it in your app store, it might be under YNAB, You Need a Budget. Same principle. You can set it up to say how much you want to spend in each category. And so before you buy something, you can look and see, oh, I've already spent $80 out of my $100 budget for this month. Let me hold off on that purchase. Now, this is really good for your personal expenses or tracking your um, like maybe your own personal expenses in business. It's not a tool that you're going to use for your entire department or ministry or organization. There are some apps you can use for that too, though. Another old school thing you can do is just use envelopes. Like literally keep an envelope with you and put your receipts in here. My husband was a traveling sales tech for a number of years, and he has his method down to perfection. He every time he would get a receipt, would circle the date, underline the total, and on the back write what it was for. And if it was like a meeting with a customer, he would write the customer's name or business on it so that then when he would collect it in his envelope, then when we get back to his office at the end of the week from traveling, He had them all right in one spot. He could take them out and easily identify the information. Now, I'm not quite that disciplined and constructive as he is. And so I would just like note it on the front of my envelope. This is just like an expense envelope, receipt envelope. I would just put on here if it was a meeting, like where the receipt was for, who I was with, and the date. That's pretty much, and I would know that it was tucked in here so that whenever I came back, whether that is to hand it to an assistant who's going to handle it, it's organized, or if you're going to sit down and do it yourself, it's organized. So if you're not going to, keep up with your paper things, then please use an app. You can also scan them. And at the end of this, I'll share with you my favorite new scan tool. It's updated from the download that you have for your guide. All right. Also, let's talk about your broader budget. So when you're working in business, you really do want to know where every dollar is going. And so your budget is not just your profit and loss, how much is coming in and how much is going out. But your budget is really like, how much do we think we have next year or next quarter, and how are we going to manage that we have? So according to the type of organization you have, this may be easier to predict than some organizations. So for instance, if you have a company and you have residual sales, without something crazy happening like 2020, you might have very predictable sales because you have recurring membership fees. And so you kind of know what you're going to get every month. Or if you are like my daughter, she's a stylist and salon owner. And so she knows pretty much, unless something changes, if she stays fully booked out and her rentals are fully booked, she knows what she's going to make every month with a very small variance here and there. But if you are a nonprofit or a ministry and you're partnership or donation driven, then that might be a little bit more difficult to keep your thumb on until you have a lot of history behind you to kind of predict your ebbs and flows and know when your peak months and low months might be, and also being aware of how to read culturally the trends of when this happens in out there in the world and what's going on, how does it affect your giving? So that can be a little trickier, but you can still get there. It's predicted. And so what you want to do is create your budget around that. So if you say, okay, I know I'm going to have $50,000 this year in my organization budget, then you're going to know from that what percentages should go to certain different things. Now, if you're not sure, I don't know how much should go to taxes or savings or capital or HR or tools I use or trips I take for education, then one resource I would really recommend you get into is called Profit First. Now, this is really good if you are a solopreneur, a founder of a ministry or a nonprofit, or you're working out there on your own as a contractor. Then this is a really good system because it teaches you like how to divide out when you get $100 in, how to tell that money where to go. You don't want it just to sit someplace and wait to be used. You want to tell it where to go and how to be used. So you can say $100 comes in. I want 10% to go into long-term savings. I want 10% to go back into giving. I want 25% to go into administrative cost for salaries. You can tell it where you want it to go. And you can even automate all this at your bank with sub-accounts. So that book is called Profit First. I believe they may even have courses and memberships in the whole shebang, but you can find it on Amazon. Just go to Profit First. And it's more of a philosophical theory of how you can handle your money, but it does get very tactical in you need these 4 accounts. This is how you get started. Tells you how to do that. Okay, so I love that if you're wanting to learn to be a really strong steward, okay, in just your everyday business or organizational budget. Now, second to that, you should have a tracking system. Now, if you are an Excel spreadsheet lover and you can put everything on Excel and create tables and pull information out, good on you. I don't like Excel. I don't really like analytics at all, but I like the benefit of having good analytics to review. So you can only pull out the reports as well as the information you put in there and set up in categories. Okay, so I suggest you maybe look at something like Quicken, FreshBooks, QuickBooks. All of those are accounting applications that you can use where you enter your what you spent, and you can even link it to your account so it can be linked to your different types of accounts you have. Now, another way of doing this is for your business expenses or personal expenses, if you keep a credit card. Now, I know, take it easy with the credit cards, but if you are very disciplined and you like to use a credit card for the benefits of using a credit card, and you can pay it off on a monthly basis so that you're not accruing interest and all of that kind of stuff, be a good steward, then you can put all of your charges onto your credit card for your business or expenses, and then earn free travel or earn free cash back that can go right back into the work that you're doing. Or if it's a personal card, same for that. And then also, most of those cards will also have a tracking system where you can tag what that expense was and you can pull it and see. I think, that is an extra. You're still going to have bank accounts and all of that. So having a mastermind of QuickBooks or FreshBooks, something like that, would be really great for you to use so that you can get a greater picture of where your money is going. Now, of course, if you're a leader of a multi-million dollar organization or even multi hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're looking at a corporate system, then these are probably not going to be the best suited for you. There are others out there for you, and you probably have an accountant that's doing it for you, along with a bookkeeping service, and you'll work with them to set things up. Although Profit First is still a good standard, but you may have more categories and more investing and that kind of a thing. So I'm really talking to you about your own personal budget, departmental budget, or small organization, maybe medium organization budget. Okay. But there are tools at every level that you can use. The premise is you need to know every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out. Where is it coming from and where is it going to? And how are you accruing? Because you want to be a good steward and because you want longevity in your leadership, and financial um, fortitude is going to be so important to you personally and in your ministry. Now, I want to give you a little side note here in Pep Talk. Okay. If you are a ministry leader or a small nonprofit leader, I hear your heart. You just want to help people. That's what you always tell me. I know that to be true. However, if you want to be in leadership for the long haul, then you have to create a system of financial strength, fortitude that will enable you to do the work over a long haul. If you are not taking a salary and you don't have another source of income, you're just kind of uh, living off the scraps at the end of the month, eventually you are going to burn out on that. Okay. And so there are going to be months where you don't have some left over. And then what are you going to do? You're going to go back and get a job or some other income source that's going to take your time and attention away from the work you feel called to do. If you need to do that, please do that. I've done that on and off, and I hold many different types of income sources. I want to encourage you to do the same. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. There you drop the basket and burst your eggs, right? And so you want to set yourself up for good financial status personally as well as financially, to be able to last over a long period of time and have a healthy stewardship, to be able to lead in the way that God is asking you to lead. All right. So if you need some help with that, if you have a ministry and you're donor based or partner based and you're not sure where to start, I have some great resources for you. I can give you a couple of podcasts to listen to. I have a colleague that just came out with a book called Fully Funded. It would be definitely worth your time. She also has a podcast by the same name. It's Mike Kim and Mary Valloni. And they have a podcast called Fully Funded. They have a book called Fully Funded. I believe she might even have a membership or course, but I trust their wisdom. align with what they teach, I think it would be very helpful for you if you need to go that route. Okay. So if you need a higher level business coach, or you're looking at more equity and investing and trust funds and endowments and that kind of thing, then you need to go find those people that can help you build out those portfolios at the level and type of industry that you're in. Okay. But do have a plan. Just like with your time and your energy, you want to make sure that you are leading the way in your own life, and that includes your finances. Okay, so here's to you. Please go out and get what you can. Oh, I almost forgot my favorite scan app. So in your downloaded guide, Unlocking Time Freedom, it mentions Scannable, which is still a decent app, but now they've connected with Evernote, and you kind of have to have one to make it work. So I don't use it anymore, but I do use Genius Scan. Genius Scan is, well, it's genius. I'm going to show you how it works. If you know how to take a picture, then you know how to use this app. So it's this orange app here. You can see the icon of it. When I go in here, it just gives me an opportunity. It has a plus sign here. I'm going to hit this plus sign. And now what it's doing is it's searching for, what should I scan? What should I scan? Like it would if you're looking for a QR code, you kind of hold it steady over something and it'll capture it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll just take this that I was using earlier, and it's as if you're trying to take a picture. As I said, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this well. Let's see if I can get it where you can see it. If you can see that it turns orange, trying to hold it steady. See how it does that? It's turning orange. So what it's going to do is it's going to capture it. I'm holding it in air. So, all right, did you see what it did? It took a snapshot, and then what it does is it converts it into a clean image like this. See, now ignore my thumb, because normally my thumb wouldn't be in it because I'm not holding it in midair. But you can see it. Just, it takes all the background out. You can save that as an image or as a PDF, and you can email it to anywhere you want it to go, or save it to your roll, or text it. And so you can file it away in your files. If you are keeping a digital file like your Google Drive, which we talked about in that other video, then you can upload it. So you can have like Nashville trip, receipts, subfolder, and just put everything in that subfolder. Share that folder with your assistant, and they have everything, and you don't even have to think twice. You just saved at least 30 minutes of your time, if not an hour. So these are tools that you can use. Yes, I know there's a learning curve anytime you get a new app. I'm not saying go download every app I've mentioned and try everything new at one time. No, I'm saying try one new thing. If from today's talk you pick one app and start using it, or one method and start using it, or just go get one of the books I mentioned, it's a win. But you can come back and make a list of these things and just add a new one each quarter if you want, and have incremental improvement over time. Okay, so we're going to come back with one more video. It's going to be on self-care, and this is, I saved it for last, but it really should be first. But I know you put other people first, put yourself last, so I put it on here last for you. But we're going to do better about that, because the more you take care of yourself, the better you can take care of other people. So we'll be back around for that very shortly. So make sure that you did your survey. Make sure you're thinking about which one of these systems you want to start with for your own improvement plan. And don't skip the next one, self-care. It's going to be very important. Okay, see you there.